What's going on, guys? My name is Wade with TechDaily. So of course, you all know what this video is about. This is the new iPhone 11, and we're gonna go ahead and unbox this phone and take a look at everything new with Apple's latest device. Now, if you didn't already know, this iPhone 11 replaces last year's iPhone XR. And if you're looking for the iPhone 11 Pro that replaces the iPhone XS, I'll have a separate video checking out that phone as well. So be sure to check the channel if you're interested. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it and see what we have. This is one of the new colors Apple launched with the phone this year, a sort of soft lavender purple. And you can see that with the box, you also get purple Apple logos and iPhone text all around, which is kind of a nice touch. The rest of the unboxing experience here mimics what we've seen in years past with other iPhones, but I do want to take just a second to let you know what all comes inside the box. Pulling off the lid reveals that shiny new iPhone front and center, and right off the bat you can see this device does look very similar to the XR in a lot of ways. We'll peel off that bit of plastic protecting the front glass and let the phone boot up for just a second while we dig a little deeper in the package. As you might expect, the next thing you'll find is the famous "Designed by Apple in California" text printed on a little packet that holds some instructions, a SIM ejector tool, and a couple Apple stickers. Still not color matched to the phone, some purple Apple stickers would have been nice here. Finally, let's talk about the accessories, and if you're like me, you're a little disappointed with the move Apple pulled here. If you ordered the iPhone 11 Pro or Pro Max, you're finally given a fast charger inside the box. But regular iPhone 11 owners are instead still getting that small 5-watt USB charging brick, even though this phone supports fast charging as well, like the Pro models. I get it, the iPhone 11 is not the top of the line Pro model iPhone, but come on, that's just not something that should be skimped out on at this point. There are $200 Android phones that include fast chargers in the box, and I don't think including a fast charger is really a pro feature. And the only other thing you'll get is your standard pair of wired Lightning earpods, nothing new here, and no more dongle included either. So here is the new iPhone 11, and I have to say, I really like this purple color. It's soft and subtle, it's not too obnoxious at all, and I think it's the perfect addition to Apple's color lineup with these phones. It sounds probably a little dumb, but honestly, I think one of the reasons the iPhone XR was the best-selling iPhone last year was because of the different color options. And I think that might be a deciding factor for a lot of potential iPhone customers once again this year as well. The color lineup for this year includes black, white, yellow, and product red, with green and purple being the two new colors this time around. The 64GB model retails for $699, which is $50 cheaper than what the iPhone XR sold for on launch last year. So that's pretty awesome that Apple bumped the price down just a bit for this new phone. There's also a 128GB model for $749 and a 256GB version for $849. Physically, like I said, this new iPhone 11 looks and feels almost identical to last year's XR. You could call it an S upgrade if you want. I think that's probably okay, but there are a fair amount of new features and things that make this phone a decent upgrade over last year. The design, of course, however, is not one of them. You're again getting that glass and aluminum combination build with color matching sides. Apple did say during their keynote, though, that the newest iPhones are made from new, stronger glass, the toughest glass ever in a smartphone in Apple's words, but at the end of the day, it's still glass, it's still probably going to break, and you should keep the phone in a case anyway if you want to keep it nice. What you will notice, however, is that new camera setup on the back, a new dual camera system for Apple's least expensive device, and I will go over all of the new camera features in just a minute. But you'll notice that the camera bump or module or whatever you want to call it, it stands out a bit more because that square area is a raised frosted glass finish, and then on top of that bump, the camera lenses also stick out a bit further as well. It's a very pronounced and obvious sort of design element, I guess you could say, and those cameras are what's actually going to touch the table when the phone lays flat. So again, just keep that in mind if you decide to not use any case with this phone. Size-wise, the iPhone 11 retains that same 6.1-inch form factor as last year, and you're also getting the same Liquid Retina LCD True Tone display at a resolution of 1792 by 828. That equates to around 326 pixels per inch, and as someone who used an iPhone XR as their primary phone for most of last year, I was totally fine with the display choice. I think most other people were too. It's not the highest resolution, it's not the brightest or newest or best display technology, but it still offers a good viewing experience for most casual smartphone users. 3D Touch was left off the XR, and this year Apple officially killed 3D Touch completely on all of their new phones. So with the iPhone 11 and the new Pro models too, you're left with haptic touch, which is that sort of press and hold function that pulls up more options. Again, this isn't something new or even specific to this phone anymore, but I did want to at least mention it. One hardware aspect of this phone that is new and improved is actually the speaker setup. You now have what Apple calls spatial audio powered by Dolby Atmos for a better and more immersive listening experience from the dual external speakers. I did briefly test this out just to see if I could notice any sort of a difference, and the speakers definitely sound good. It isn't exactly night and day between the 10R, but the audio sounds more crisp and punchy, and overall I think this is a nice little upgrade. Inside, the iPhone 11 is now powered by Apple's newest A13 Bionic chipset and 3rd generation neural engine, which makes everything 20% faster over the iPhone 10R. What Apple actually doesn't advertise outright is the RAM and battery capacity, but after some teardowns, it was revealed that the iPhone 11 ships with 4 GB of RAM, and inside it packs just a bit over a 3000 mAh battery. The upgraded internals, better optimized iOS 13, and very slight increase in battery capacity mean that this phone can last up to an hour longer than the iPhone 10R. So while you certainly aren't seeing that drastic improvement like Apple advertises with the Pro models, you are getting a little better battery life here with this new phone. And again, fast charging is supported with the iPhone 11 via USB-C power delivery, but you'll need to purchase that fast charger separately. Finally, let's talk cameras, because this is really where Apple put all of their effort across the entire iPhone lineup this year. First up, the front camera system now packs a better 12 megapixel shooter. Combined with all those extra sensors in the notch, Apple claims that Face ID should be up to 30% faster and also work from more angles when you try to unlock your device. And as someone who hasn't exactly loved Face ID, this is something I'll be taking note of in the coming days as I start to use this phone more and more. The front camera also has some new capabilities and features, including what Apple calls slow-fies, slow motion selfie videos. There's also improved HDR and video recording at 4K 60 FPS, and for taking selfies, the camera itself offers a bit wider field of view. By default, the standard view is cropped, but if you turn the device in landscape mode or tap on the new icon in the bottom center of the screen, you can go just a bit wider with your shot to fit all your family and friends in that selfie. Around back, the dual lens setup includes a standard shooter and a new ultra-wide lens. So once again, you can fit even more in every shot you take. You also get 2x optical zoom with an audio zoom feature thrown in there as well. There's next-gen smart HDR and a full-featured portrait mode too. If you guys remember, the 10R could, for whatever reason, only take portrait mode pictures of people. This time around, you can take portrait pics of basically anything you'd like. And there's also a new high key light mono portrait filter too. Another new feature in the camera app is what Apple calls Quick Take. So if you happen to be in the middle of taking a picture and instead want to capture the moment on video, if you tap and hold the capture button, you'll instantly start recording a video. Dragging the button to the left creates a burst, and dragging it to the right locks video mode on so you can keep recording. And this is just a little addition to the camera app that I think is pretty useful. Last but not least, Apple also added night mode as a shooting feature with the iPhone. This is similar to what we've already had on Pixel and Samsung devices. Basically, you'll be able to take better pictures and capture more detail in low light conditions, and this night mode feature is enabled only in the dark. It'll pop up on screen when the iPhone recognizes a dimly lit scene, and you have the option to use it or not, and you can also adjust the exposure time as well, depending on how dark the scene is if you're trying to get a better shot. Obviously, this was a long-awaited feature for iPhone users, and I can't wait to put it to the test against the Note 10 and Pixel to see just how it compares. And finally, the iPhone 11, of course, ships with the latest version of iOS 13. And if you really have any iPhone from the last few years, you'll already have this update, so I won't spend too much time talking about it since there's nothing else software-wise that's specific to this device. But if you want to check out all of the new features and changes in iOS 13, I do have a video outlining them all, and I'll leave a link on screen and down below in the video description if you want to check that video out. So there you go. That's pretty much everything that's new with this year's iPhone 11. If I happen to miss anything important, definitely let me know in the comments down below, and also let me know if you'll be picking up a new iPhone this year too. I'm pretty excited to get the chance to use this device, and I can't wait to make some comparison videos and a whole bunch of other content in the coming weeks. So let me know if there's anything in particular you guys would like to see. But hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. Let me know what you think of the new iPhone 11 in the comments down below. Also, be sure to follow TechDaily on Twitter and subscribe subscribe to the Tech Daily YouTube channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys later.